Hello, guys. Welcome back to another episode of the UBOF podcast. I'm Abraham.
And I'm your co-host, Victoria. That is what you hear. What's a knife?
What did you say, co-host?
I said co-host.
Yeah.
I meant co-host. Well, what you heard there, fellow friends and family, is that you hear el rechinar of a knife and the microphone.
Rechinar is a third.
It's not the
Adjective.
scratch. You know
Isn't
what I mean.
rechinar like a squeal?
Oh,
Is it?
yeah.
Yeah.
So what would you consider that? Como rascar?
Yeah, rascar.
I like when people rasca my head. It feels nice. I just like when I like when Mario plays with my hair. I always ask him to play with my hair so I can fall asleep. Or I ask him to like me de piojito así.
Yeah. Ew.
Like that.
Is she
Yeah.
one of those, like the massage things?
Oh my gosh. I went to Five Below and they had one and I put it down my head. I was like, oh, this is so nice. I should have gotten it. I
Yeah.
didn't get it. Those are nice though.
Those feel nice.
Yeah. And then when I hear or when I watch ASMR videos of like people playing with other people's hair, for some reason that knocks me out. It's just like,
That's weird.
because te da la sensación, like you can feel it on your head. It's just like, it feels like someone's playing with your hair, but they're not.
I guess.
I don't know. I have a really sensitive head, so I think that's why.
I've heard that.
Yeah.
Damn. Drink some water. Anyway, today is Sunday, the 9th.
We're in June now. How do you feel about June?
I went by fast.
Yeah,
Like
right?
we're literally halfway through the year. And it feels like yesterday was still cold. And
What do you have to tell all the people out there about June?
what about June? June's the worst month of the year.
Why would you say that?
I can't say it.
Oh, I understand
That's
why.
a joke. Oh, it was your birthday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was my birthday.
With my nephew.
Oh,
and
really?
my deceased grandfather. Yeah.
That's really sad.
What do you mean? He was old.
But he's deceased.
He's in a better place now.
How old did your nephew turn?
I don't even know. 18 or 17?
8. He's one of Brenda's kids?
Yeah.
What? Which one?
Benny. Oldest one.
Wow. Well, happy
He was
birthday
16 or
to you,
17.
Benny.
Yeah, you guys share the same birthday.
That's awesome. I share birthdays with a lot of people I've found.
Really?
Yeah. There's some people that I follow on social media that it's their birthdays on June. And then I know people outside like of social media that their birthdays are in June.
But the same
June
day,
6th. Yeah, the same day. And I'm like,
6/6.
wow, what a small world. I share birthdays with other
No,
people.
but just shares a birthday with, like, it's the most common birthday.
That is very true. Mario's aunt and grandma share birthday. So Mario's grandma has the same birthday as him. And Mario's tia has the same birthday as Julissa.
Yeah.
It's so interesting. But I feel like September is a really common month to have birthdays.
Oh, it's the 9th, right? Interesting.
The
So
9th,
they're New Year babies.
New Year babies.
Yeah. They
Like
get
from the
conceived.
Chinese thing?
No, they get conceived
Oh.
during New Year's. Like,
Well, if you put it that
New
way.
Year, let's have a kid this year. And then here come all the September babies.
No, they just
Popping out.
parents were partying, they were out and about, and then they get home and they still have energy, and it happens. It happens. I don't like to think about that because then I want to think about when my parents, like, why they had me. But I think they had me like in a cold, like they conceived me in like a cold month.
And
They
then,
were probably cold.
And then November babies are Valentine's babies.
Really? The pandemic babies, those are so funny. Zaria's a pandemic baby, and it's like you had nothing else to do, so yeah.
Don't say it like that.
So you made a baby.
That's funny.
That's so cute. It's so interesting when you think about it that way. When were you made?
I don't know.
So
In February.
around Valentine's. Whoa, your
Hey,
parents
do
were
Mexicans-
lovey.
Do Mexicans celebrate Valentine's Day?
That's a really good question. Valentine's Day.
Like in Mexico?
I think so, but I think they just consider it like, but yeah, el Día de Amor y Amistad. I think so.
That's true.
That's so interesting. Yeah, when I went to Mexico, Mario's family is like super young, and I never realized like I was the same age of a lot of his like cousins' wives, and they already have like 2-3 kids, and I'm like, oh, I'm taking a little long.
But that's
Yeah. Or they would be like younger than me and they had like 2-3 kids. I was like, oh my goodness.
I think that's the norm in Mexico. Now.
You think so?
I don't know.
I don't know. I just know I wouldn't have a baby in Mexico because one of his primas traumatized me from her experience of having a baby and like doing everything like right by the hospital, and the hospital still screwed up. And honestly, it could have been a lawsuit, but I mean, in Mexico, you don't really see that a lot. Like,
really?
Que los demandan and stuff a los médicos. So it was really, it was really traumatizing. I was like, oh my God, that happened. That's a little scary. That's scary. So what she was saying, she's a year younger than me. She's 26 and she already has 2 kiddos. Mm-hmm. And she was telling me that on the weekends, and I don't know if it's all over Mexico, but at least in el Estado de Mexico, that on the weekends, like doctors, like surgeons, like the medical doctors don't work on weekends.
The heck?
So the people that are on staff are like residents or students. Uh-huh. And so she was scheduled to have her baby during the week with the doctor. Pero her water broke like a lot sooner. And so she ended up going to the hospital on the weekend. And she was telling us that she was like assigned to a bunch of students. And the students just let her go through the pain. Like, I don't know how she described it. She had these terms to describe it, but that they were just letting her. She said she dilated till she dilated up to 10 centimeters. Is it 10 centimeters? Yeah, the 10 centimeters. So what happens for your future wife, so you can be a little bit compassionate. Your area, the woman's area, it's like a little tiny hole, right? And it has to dilate to like 10 centimeters, like this big. Your hole has to get that big so then you can start pushing the baby out.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Right? And so she dilated till she was 10 centimeters and they kept her like that. They just kept her in pain, like going through labor. And so the pain controlled her body so much que se le reventaron las venas de los ojos, and her face swelled up like if she was stung by a bunch of bees all at the same time. Jeez. Because of the pain that her body was going through. And she was telling me that there's a point during labor that you start going through so much pain that your body just naturally starts pushing the baby out. Yeah. And she was at that point, her body was just naturally pushing the baby out, and the students kept telling her to wait. And so that put her life at risk, and that put the baby's life at risk. All these things happened that then the baby ended up, I don't know what ended up pooping in the womb, which is also a very dangerous thing because if they eat the poop, like all these things happen, and the baby ended up eating the poop because like they wouldn't let her push, but her body was already pushing. And so then they had to keep the baby. I think she said like, I don't remember if it was a week or a month. I really don't remember. Hospitalized. She was hospitalized for a week because of all of that.
Did they have a reason?
They didn't have a reason. Like she was supposed to have a natural birth, but it became a C-section because of all that stuff. And it was scheduled for a certain day. And no, just the students, she says that they didn't know what they were doing, especially because the doctors weren't coming in because it was their days off on like the weekends.
That's crazy.
It's really messed up. I was like, girl, you're not making it like any easier for me to decide to have a baby. Like that's just traumatizing.
Do they? Yeah. No, they don't have free healthcare over there, right?
No, I don't think so, but it is a lot cheaper.
That's crazy.
Super cheap. I got sick in Mexico and I had to go to the doctor.
This time around?
Yeah, on the last day that we were there, I got super sick because I had pozole the night before. The pozole that I ate, like, oh my gosh, no, it was not. I woke up that morning, and I'll tell you how my morning went. I woke up, and I was just like, what was the song that was in my head? What was it? She's like, it was like, I forgot what it was. How it goes in my mind. Whatever. I was singing a song, and I was like, I'm gonna go get my phone, and I'm like all happy, and then I go back to bed, and then I feel this huge cramp. And I almost didn't make it to the bathroom. And I ran. And se me soltó el estómago. Mm-hmm. Like every 5 minutes, I was in the bathroom. I had gone number 5 at least 4 times
5.
Already. Yeah, it was bad.
He's number 5.
Like, it's not number 2. It's like number 5. It was extreme. And then I ended up puking like 5 times.
Yeah, food poisoning.
I did, because then I was getting chills all over, and so they ended up having me. They took me to the doctor in La Colonia, which was like 2 blocks away, and we paid like 40 pesos. How much is 40 pesos?
It's not even. It's like.
It was $40.
$40.
I think it was 40 pesos. Yeah, it was 40 pesos. Well, that's what I heard, but I was like out of it. I had already, and I was like drowsy, and I was vomiting everywhere. I even like, and so 40 pesos is $2. Huh, interesting. I think it was 40 pesos. I was out of it. But then we left.
It was 400 pesos. Maybe.
You think so? I don't know. It was, point is, it was cheap. Mm-hmm. It was cheap. And then we left, and then we had to walk back home because there was nothing that they could do other than medicate me.
Like a hospital or like a clinic?
No, it was a clinic. Oh. And they took me, they were like, you're just going to have to go home. Yeah. And then on my way home, we were walking, and the sun was so strong, and I start puking all over the banqueta. Yeah.
But did you feel better once you were on the plane, or?
The plane didn't leave till the night, esa noche. Wow. But I was already like heavily medicated. I had slept for a couple hours, and I was doing a lot better.
Dang. What a way to end.
Yeah.
Trip.
Yeah. It was crazy. It was crazy. But what did you do during that first week of June? Tell us, Abraham.
I didn't do anything.
Nothing?
Oh, I just work.
That's
come
something.
Back home. Make some clips.
I saw the clips you've been posting. They're funny. They're funny.
They're funny.
They have been funny.
I was going to make a birthday one, but it was too late. So
what?
Like a birthday montage for you.
Oh, that would have been so sweet. So. Oh, yeah. It's okay.
Well, like I thought of the day of, but like I was going to take a while.
Oh, okay.
Thursday, right?
Thursday. It was on Thursday.
So I was like, ooh, too late. Maybe next year.
I'm 3 years closer to 30.
That's crazy.
How many are you? 2 or 1?
What do you mean? Like 30 this year?
No, you didn't.
Well, not yet, but I'm gonna.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So you have one. Oh, so you have a couple months left.
Yeah. It's crazy.
How do you feel?
I don't feel anything.
Yeah. People ask all the time, how do you feel? I don't know.
I don't think
just feel
much
normal.
changes. Maybe once you're like 35, it probably hits you.
You think so?
Yeah.
They say that your 30s are like the best decade you'll have.
That's what I heard. So I guess we'll see.
You'll have to let us know. All the 20s over here, the late 20s, 20ers. The late 20ers. Well, tell us a little bit about this yummy-licious stuff that you have right here. The glazingly amazing. Oh, I'm glazingly amazing. What is this, Abraham? Tell us.
It's petite 3. That's it, 3? Donuts and coffee.
Nice.
So
is this a local thing?
Yeah.
Or where'd you get this from?
It's from Aurora. So I think it's on New York Street.
I've never had any of this, but this looks great. That purple one looks so good. What is that?
It's not that good.
No?
Here, let me look up the website so I can see if I can name some of that. So that purple one is blueberry basil.
Blueberry basil?
Yeah.
I'm going to leave it open like this a little bit. Look at that. That looks great.
What is it called?
You know what? I'm not a big donut fan unless it's Krispy Kreme.
Really?
Yeah, I can have a bunch of Krispy Kremes.
Do they only sell the glazed donut?
No. You know what my favorite one is? The jelly filled, but it has to be raspberry filled.
Raspberry?
Uh-huh.
Aren't they all raspberry?
No, they have some cream ones. They have some Nutella ones. They have some like lemon ones.
I don't know that they were. All right, so this is what I got. So that one's a blueberry basil.
Blueberry basil.
This one's called burnt and salty.
It looks like gravy.
I think this one's cinnamon coffee cake, maple bacon, and this one I think is Nutella espresso.
Nutella espresso.
Yeah. So
What's the bun made out of?
what do you mean?
The bread.
I don't know.
Like, there's different types of like textured donuts. These seem like I don't know. There's different types of donuts.
No,
Yeah, they're not all the same.
I don't know what you're talking about, Vicky. I think all
If
donuts are
Julissa
the
was
same.
here, I think she would understand because there's like the fluffy donut and there's like more of a dense donut. But I don't know what the difference is or the names of it.
You mean a bagel?
No. I don't know.
Anyway, I
But
don't know what you're talking about.
let's give them a try. So we are trying today the local, more of a fancy,
Yeah, it's like a fancier.
like a fancy local donut shop. Do they only sell donuts there?
I think so, and like they make
Okay.
like coffee and.
And these would be great if you're listening to us and not watching us through YouTube. These would be great with some coffee, but unfortunately, we do not have coffee at the moment.
Some
So,
water.
which one do you want to try first, Abraham?
I never tried these two. So give me one of those.
Oh, you've already tried them?
Yeah.
We're going to do, which one's this one again?
I think that's the coffee cake.
The coffee cake.
Cinnamon coffee
Here you
cake.
go, buddy. There you go. This one looks good.
I'm still wondering what you mean by.
This one smells so good.
Does it? Yeah, it smells like cinnamon. I don't know.
Ow.
Too sugary.
I don't know if I like them.
Like the powdery
The
stuff.
powdery stuff.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to taste more like, I don't know.
Not bad. It's definitely too sugary though.
You know when you taste like something sugary, está como granizoso. I like that. This one's not like that. This one just like melted away, and it tasted more like a paste. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's not what I
What was it called?
thought that it was gonna taste like.
It's like almost like sand. Like a sandy texture.
Well, no, because sandy texture is like granizoso, like what I'm talking about. This one's more like
That's what it feel like to me.
wet
coffee.
sand. This tasted like wet sand. The texture.
Yeah, like it turns into like a paste.
Yeah. Yeah.
It wasn't bad though.
No, I wasn't.
I wouldn't try it again though.
Me either. That's not one that I would get. I'm also trying to like think about like would this be taste good with coffee?
Really?
Yeah.
I want to eat these with milk instead.
You eat them with milk?
Yeah, is that a weird thing?
No, that's how Mario eats them too. Pero here you go. I think I might like this one because of the bacon.
For real, let's taste the bacon first.
Look at that beautiful bite. Look at that.
Not too salty.
Tastes like good bacon.
Chunk of.
It tastes like honey bacon.
That one's good.
Yeah. Which one's this one?
Maple bacon.
Maple bacon. I like it. It tastes like maple. That one was good.
Syrup.
That was a lot better.
Yeah.
Now that I would have with some coffee. right?
I'm not a big coffee guy. How do you like your coffee?
I just like my coffee.
You guys make your coffee with milk, no?
Yeah, we heat up some milk or we boil some milk. Not boil, but we just heat up some milk on the stove, and then we'll do What is it called? Is it Nescafe?
Yeah.
And we'll put it in the milk, and then we'll add sugar, so we have like milk to coffee. But if we don't have time to make milk coffee, we just get normal coffee, and I only like mine with cream. I don't like it with sugar.
Really? But you never make it with water?
What do you mean with water?
Like you don't have like a coffee machine?
No.
So you guys boil milk every time?
Yeah.
Interesting.
We just make it with milk, or if we're out and about, then we'll just order like a normal coffee with milk. Mario does like his sweet though. I don't.
You think you'll ever drink black coffee?
Black coffee?
Yeah.
We did in Mexico,
And
it wasn't bad.
give me a smaller piece.
A smaller piece?
Yeah, give me half a donut.
Okay.
It looks like mazapan.
This one looks like mazapan.
Yeah.
Here's your little piece for a little boy. We had black coffee in Mexico because his family would only drink black coffee. So they would heat up water, and then they put the coffee in it. Y así no lo tomábamos. This one smells good. It smells like peanut butter.
It don't taste like anything. It just tasted like an old-fashioned donut.
That didn't taste
I
like
don't know,
anything.
that was not Nutella.
No, it was not Nutella.
Oh, sorry.
It's okay. That wasn't Nutella.
I don't know what that is then.
It just tasted like, that's what it was. Old-fashioned donut.
Those are my favorite.
Yeah, those are good. It's better than the normal donut.
Yeah, just a classic old-fashioned. No,
With
no
a coffee.
sugar, no glazed.
But I don't think I like how the bread tastes in these donuts.
Why?
I don't know. I think that's what's ruining the other flavors for me.
It tastes like a donut.
No, it doesn't.
It does.
This tastes way different than an old-fashioned donut from Dunkin'.
I don't know.
I'm like having
I like
such a
the
fun
bread.
time cutting these pieces of donuts. Look at that. Look at that perfect bite. Here you go, buddy.
This one's not good.
No?
No.
It's so soothing. It's just cutting up so
The
nicely.
flavor is weird. It's like a minty. It tastes minty to me. Like you're eating like toothpaste.
You know what? I like it.
Really?
But it doesn't taste like something you would put on a donut. It tastes more like something like you put on a salad.
It makes sense.
Right?
It's, what is it? Raspberry basil?
You said blueberry basil.
Blueberry? Same thing.
You can taste the basil. You can taste the basil
Yeah,
for
you can.
sure. You ready for the next one?
Yeah.
The one that looks like biscuits and gravy over here.
Really?
Doesn't
Said
it?
like cookies and cream.
You know who has the best biscuits and gravy? And anyone in in Aurora, Illinois, or in its surroundings is gonna know. Yes. Guess who has the best biscuits and gravy?
In Aurora?
Yeah.
Pancake House.
No.
What do you mean?
No, they don't.
Is it a like breakfast
It
place?
is a breakfast place.
Like a Mexican one?
No. I don't even think Mexican breakfast places have biscuits and gravy.
Yeah, they do. I don't know.
Harner's.
That wouldn't even have been one of my guesses. I don't even know what
Harner's?
that is.
Oh. Harner's Bakery? They have a restaurant too in North Aurora. It's so good. It's so good.
It tastes like it's like caramel, no?
I don't like that.
That did have a weird
No.
flavor.
No. Look, people. I get that donuts are amazing. You know,
Well, they have
They're
some
just
other weird
great.
ones.
They're amazing. But like, when we start doing some exotic flavors, you got to make sure that you hit it right in the head for them to come out good.
They have one called jalapeno cornbread.
Jalapeno. I mean, I don't want to be mean
That
either
one-
because I'm sure people like this.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I've definitely tried better donuts with like assorted and different sauces on top. I have tried better.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. This one was just not my
I
favorite.
don't really like donuts.
You don't?
No.
What do you like?
Conchas.
Yeah,
Probably the better bread to go to.
that's true. Mexican bread, sweet bread. Mexican sweet bread.
These are all right.
Oh, well, let's
kind of
rate each one.
expensive.
How much did you pay for this?
I don't know. It was like 20, more than 20.
More than 20?
Yeah.
Dang. I'll sell you some money too. Because
No, it's fine.
for 1, 2, 3, 4 donuts, $20? Yeah.
It was not. Was it 4 donuts? It was 5.
No, it's 4. 1, 2, 3,
Oh,
4,
no, it
5.
was
Oh,
6.
yeah,
It
you're
was
right.
6. It was 6. Because I ate one earlier.
Which one did you eat?
This one. It was the same one.
This one?
No, this.
The gravy one?
The gravy one.
It looks like gravy. Yeah,
so it
they're a
was
little
6.
expensive. I didn't like the bread, like the donut itself, and I didn't like the flavors on top. They just tasted like pure sugar.
They all kind of tasted the same.
Yeah,
Like this one, and like the coffee one.
just pure sugar. It didn't
and
really
they
have
are
a
too
difference.
sweet.
They are very sweet.
And like I feel like this one's more dense than like Dunkin' Donuts.
Yeah.
Like it's like fluffier,
Yeah, yeah.
like lighter.
Yeah,
Like this bread is really dense.
yeah.
I like the flavor, but it is kind of dense.
La masa also has to be good, and I just don't think I like this
It's
one.
more like of a pound cake kind of texture than.
I've never had a pound cake. Oh, I
It's
have.
like it's like a really dense cake.
Yeah, I have. I've had a Puerto Rican pound cake with guava jelly in it. It's good. It's amazing. It's amazing. Well, let's rate them out of 5. Let's start with the powder, like the cinnamony powder
Yeah.
one.
Give it like a 2.
I'm gonna give it a 1 because I really didn't like it at all.
Really?
Yeah. What about the bacon one and
That's
the
probably
maple?
the best one. Like,
Yeah.
give it like a 4. Yeah, 4. 4.2.
You know what? It was the only one that I was able to imagine myself eating with some coffee. So I would give it a 4. Not a 5 because that would be perfect. And I don't think it was like perfect, but a 4 for sure. This
That
one,
that don't taste like anything.
I agree.
It's like a glazed donut.
I agree. It even tastes like
Maybe
Nutella.
like a
You
2.
you said it was Nutella?
I think so. That's the only one.
I'm going to give it a 1.
I'll
A
give
1.
it a 2.
Because it didn't taste like anything. False advertisement. False.
Maybe it's not the Nutella.
It looks like it would be. Okay, and then this one, I mean, it's not bad. Which one? The blueberry basil one is not bad, but I appreciate that it wasn't that sweet. Like, it was sweet, but it wasn't like the other ones. This one was more like, it tasted to me like more like healthier on a
Tastes like
donut.
toothpaste to me, to be honest.
See? What would you rate it?
I give that 1.
A 1?
Yeah. Like it looks like it's gonna be good, but
Yeah, you're right. I was excited to eat that one, but you were like, it's not that good. I was like,
my bad.
I would give it a 3 because if I really wanted to, if there was only like this one from the other ones, I would pick that one. You know, like from all the choices, if the maple bacon one wasn't there, I would choose that one.
That's your highest.
No, my
To
highest was
eat?
my 4.
Yeah, but if you said if it wasn't there,
If the maple bacon one wasn't there, yeah, that was my highest.
your favorite. Mm-hmm. Yeah. The last one, too sugary.
Yeah.
I feel like they're all kind of sugary. Which I mean, I guess they're donuts, so they're not the healthiest option. But you can go too sweet,
Too sweet.
too sugary.
Yeah. And I think that's what happened with all these flavors, that they use a lot of sugar in their condiments. A lot of sugar.
They're condiments. They're
Spices? What do you call it?
they're glazes.
They're You get my point. You get my point.
So, would I go here again? Probably not.
Me either.
Not for the price.
No, definitely not for the price.
Sure, there's people that like them.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure there is, but I feel like...
White people. Okay, once you eat at concha, you can't go back.
That's true. But you have to go to a good concha shop. Like, you just can't go to one where it's like super dry. Which we, in our other video where we were rating, La Central had the best concha. Oh no, you like the Chicanita Bakery.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was crunchy, I don't know.
That's true. I like the conchas to like melt in your mouth. So I definitely will choose La Central. Since that episode, I have not been able to eat another concha from anywhere else. I've been so picky. I'm like, no, babe, get it from La Central. He was like, I didn't have time to go. I'm like, okay, I'm not going to eat that.
Wow.
Yeah, I've been picky with my conchas since then. But overall, this was a good experience. I'm going to pick at the bacon over here because it was good. But
yeah.
Harner's Bakery. We should do a review on that one.
Never been there.
You've never been? You've never even been to the... What?
Where is that at?
It's in North Aurora. It's on Lake Street. You know when you pass like the tollway on Lake Street?
Yeah.
And you keep going straight and it takes you to North Aurora? Yeah. It's like one of those shops right there.
I don't go over there often.
But it's... You know where A&W is?
Yeah.
It's around there.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I think if you haven't been to Harner's Bakery and Restaurant, you have to give it a try. I used to love, and I still do. I love Nikari's, but that's off my that's off my number one list already. Because Harner's Restaurant and Bakery it took its place.
That's where all the old people hang out.
Yeah.
And
they have a bakery and it's so
gravy
yummy.
and bacon or whatever. Is it gravy and biscuits?
Their gravy and biscuits. Oh my gosh, they have this delicious, and this is the plate that I always go get when I eat breakfast there. They have this delicious corned beef hash brown.
Corned beef hash brown.
Hash browns. They're delicious. Corned beef. It's like hash browns. You know how when you go to a breakfast place and they ask you, do you want like your eggs with hash browns or fruit? And you ask for hash browns?
Yes.
They add like corned beef there. Oh, it's delicious. It's so good. Eat their mermelada. Let me not get started
their jam.
with their so good. It's so good because it's house made. It's so yummy. Well, this is okay, guys. I'm happy that you guys were able to witness it anyway. We'll leave them for Randy to eat.
Oh. Okay. So you recently went to Mexico.
I did. Mexico.
And I have some questions for you to answer about your trip.
Okay.
If you can.
Okay. I can answer questions.
Where did you go?
I went to Ciudad Mexico, el Estado de Mexico.
So Mexico City.
Mexico City.
The capital of Mexico.
Oh, you know what I learned?
What?
I learned a cool story about it, which I didn't know, and they actually teach you in school over there. They
What?
teach you of how Mexico City became Mexico City. And so the legend is that El Águila, the eagle, right? That's how you say it in English.
Yeah.
There was an eagle that was flying, and it landed in Toluca, Mexico, but that it didn't like being there. It just didn't feel right. So he flew to Mexico City, and that's when through the water he found a snake that he bit, which represents, the Mexican flag's eagle and the snake.
Yeah.
And so that's where Mexico City started.
Ooh.
Isn't that a cool legend?
Is it true that it's built like on a lake?
Yeah.
So that's why it's sinking.
It's sinking. Yeah.
It was built on Atlantis.
So we went to go see las pirámides. What's it called? Teotihuacan. I'm really bad with the names. You know where, right? No. Well, we went to go see las pirámides and we were like learning about them. And so I just learned about all this and I just forget the names. The people that used to live there, like the ancient people that used to live there, they actually did not live in the city. They lived like around the city, within Los Cerros. And they used the city, like they didn't live in the city in case like enemies would come and attack. Like they would be hiding in the pyramids. And so what we learned was that I don't know what my point was. What was your question?
I don't know. I just said it was built on a lake.
Yeah, okay, yes. And so I asked, I was like, why would they do that? Like, I don't understand. And so they their intention wasn't to build it on a lake. That's just how it started. And yeah. I can't get you better than that.
All right, anyway, let me ask you the first question.
Okay.
What was your favorite place that you visited?
I hope I say this
building or the pyramids.
It was Coyoacán. I'm really hoping I'm saying that right.
What is that?
Coyoacán. It's another city in el Estado de Mexico.
Okay.
And it reminded me a lot of Guadalajara. That's why.
Okay.
Because Guadalajara is a little bit more ancient with their plazas, like vintage. I would call it, if you call it vintage, old school. Like their plazas are still very this. Yeah, they didn't change it. They didn't modernize it. And so when you go to Mexico City, it's literally a city. Mm-hmm. It's like if you're going to Chicago, it's a city. But a lot of their buildings are not the architecture isn't, what would you call it?
I don't know.
It isn't original because it's just a city.
More modern.
Yeah, it's more modernized. And a couple of the places that they do have the architecture from in the past are museums now, but there's not many. Mm. And so we liked Coyoacán because the plaza that's there, it reminded me a lot of Guadalajara because of the environment, the atmosphere, the people, the buildings, even the floor. It wasn't a normal street. It was bricks, you know? And it was so nice. And I had some churros there. Amazing churros. If you are going to Mexico City, go to Coyoacán for their churros. And we had esquites and we just had so much stuff. Oh, I even have a picture. We even got a stick this big with arrachera all around it. Y nos lo hicieron con salsa de habanero and then Valentina. It was so good. I'll show you guys. Coyoacán. I'm Coyoacán. Dang, I'm really hoping I'm saying that right because every time I say it, someone corrects me, so I don't think I'm saying it right.
So that's another city inside the Estado de Mexico.
Yeah, it's another city.
It's nearby Mexico City. The Mexico City is pretty big, no?
Yeah, it's really big. Yeah. It's if you're going to Chicago and then Aurora and then St. Charles and then it's that, different towns. Oh, it's right here. Here's a picture of Mario eating the arrachera. It was so good.
It's like a kebab.
Yeah.
Just send it to me so I can eat it.
Okay. Yeah, I'll send it to you.
Right.
And it was so pretty. It was so pretty, and I had a lot of fun there.
All right, second question. What surprised you the most about how people live there? If you can answer it. Or about how Mario's family lives there.
I don't think I was surprised. I think I was...
You knew what you were...
I knew what I was walking into.
Well, you've been to Mexico before, so...
Yeah. It wasn't anything different. I think what I was more shocked about was how people are willing to live in such a populated area like that. I think that's what not shocked me, but I think that's what I thought about the most. And the reason, and I think it's just because if you grow up in that, you kind of just are used to it. Yeah. But I'm not a city person. I'm not a city person.
So there was a lot of people just out and about?
It was so packed.
You've been to New York, so would it compare?
Oh, no. Does not compare. No, this is 10 times more. Ooh. So just to get you an idea, okay? You know how it takes without traffic, right? 40 minutes to get to Chicago from Aurora.
Yeah.
Right? Where Mario's family is currently living right now is no longer in the city. They live in a town called Toluca, which is outside of the city. And it's like living in Aurora. Yeah. So it should take 40, 45 minutes to drive from Toluca to Mexico City. it did not take 40 to 45 minutes like it's supposed to. It did take 40 to 45 minutes when like there was like, if we were coming home at 1 a.m. and there was absolutely no traffic. But during the day, it's taking you 3 hours to get from Toluca to Mexico City and back. I'm talking, and it's so much. And so I'm not a city person. I love going to the city, but I cannot. I don't think I could ever live in the city. I'm more of like a rural, out in the middle of nowhere. I like that.
Giving your home choices.
Well, if you put it that way. And it was every single day we had to, if we were going somewhere, if it wasn't Mexico City, but around Mexico City, we needed to be up and out of the house at a certain time because we knew we were going to take like 2 to 3 hours to get there. So even when they were driving us back to the airport, we had to drive to the city. We left the house at 6 p.m. We got to the airport at 9 p.m.
Jeez.
From a 40-minute drive, it turned into like 3 hours. It's just, no, you can't compare New York to that. No. And so that's what I thought about. It's just like, I think you have to be born there and like, I don't know. Be used to it to live in an area so populated like that. Now, don't get me wrong. In the city, there's different places like there is in Chicago. Like you have like Humboldt Park in Chicago. You have what's the other ones? I forget.
I don't know.
like
little districts.
Uptown. You have like these little districts. That's how Mexico City is. You have Reforma. You have, I forget the names.
Did you go to the dangerous places?
No, we didn't. We drove through them. I wasn't allowed to get off the car. So they have different places, and they all the different places are like nice, except for the scary parts. But it's still really packed. It's so packed. I think that I was more fed up with like the driving and having to get to places. And we had a car. Mario's tia had a car, so she was driving us around. But Mario's other tia was telling us that she doesn't have a car and she normally takes like public transportation. And it still takes her 3 hours through public transportation to get through to places. So my mindset is like, I would love to move to Mexico one day. But my thought was like, would I ever move to Mexico City? No. It's way too packed. Way too packed.
Yeah.
But all the other things were like really nice about it.
Is Guadalajara like that too? Like
no, not that. It's packed because it's a city, but it's not like that. It's just, I don't know. I think I was amazed at the fact that it's like, why is there so much people here?
Well, it's like one of the largest cities now. It's like the third largest city.
I was gonna say I definitely have heard that it's
up there.
It's like the top 10. Yeah. And another thing about it, since we were staying in Toluca, it's a little bit more, I guess you can consider it like rural. Not so much, but it's a little bit more rural. You can tell the difference in the air that you're breathing when you drive into the city.
Yeah, I can imagine.
You can tell. It was TMI, but I'm going to tell you how dirty the air is, okay? I came back from Mexico City with a bunch of barros on my back. In 1 week, se me juntaron. And I think it's partially my fault too, because I forgot my scrubber thingy that I normally use. And so when I was like showering every day, you needed to shower every day, by the way. It was like, no, like, you can't shower today. You had to shower every day. I wasn't, like, I thought I was doing my part of scrubbing, but no. Like, my bag was dirty. And you can tell that there's a difference in the heaviness of the air. And there was one point where it rained on us. It didn't rain, but like estaba haciendo mucho viento, and my hair estaba tieso. It was tieso because of the dirt and the wind, and I was like, "Why is my hair so hard?" Like it was like stuck like this. I was like, "Oh gosh, no."
Was it hot when you were there?
It was really hot in some days, like super hot.
90s.
No,
80s.
It wasn't even in the 90s. It was in the 80s. But the sun was so strong, it just made it so hot.
You are closer to the equator.
Really?
Which means you're closer to the sun Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Well, you're further south.
Oh, I didn't know that. Well, that doesn't make sense if you believe in flat Earth,
How?
because there is no equator.
Yeah, it is.
Even on a flat Earth?
Well, I don't know how that would work. For sure, just a circle. Anyway. You speak Spanish. It doesn't apply. You already kind of talked about your favorite neighborhood.
Yeah.
Did I skip one? Did you accidentally speak English at all? And got upcharged?
No, I didn't. And when I would, it was just to like I would speak to Mario in English, but it was like very like personal. Like I was like that. Like it wasn't like, hey babe.
You would do something.
And he would remind me sometimes like, hey, you're speaking English, and I was like, oh.
Like in English or in Spanish?
No, in Spanish. He would remind me, but it wasn't
funny.
that I was speaking loud. And then when we were at his tia's house, like I'd speak English to him.
Do they speak English? Or
No,
not?
they don't. But I wouldn't do it like in front of them. I would just have a conversation with Mario.
I was asking.
And plus, like she would do all the talking for us.
Like to the vendors and stuff?
Yeah. Pero también, you know what I noticed? I noticed that a lot of the things that we did, it was actually Mario's tia's first time doing as well.
Oh, really?
Because they don't go out a lot. Not because they can't. It's just that she has this business and she's working like 24/7 all the time. And so they don't go a lot to the city. They used to live in the city, but because it's become so populated, they moved to Toluca. And so she's always traveling around Mexico. Like she's always traveling in different states because of the company that they have. And so she was like, it was her first time going to the pyramids. And we're talking about that she's lived in Mexico City all her life. And we're talking about like a mid 40-year-old woman. And so, yeah, it was interesting. Yeah.
Next question. What was the most memorable meal of the trip?
What?
Most memorable.
Memorable?
Memorable. Like the food that you ate that you like.
Memorable.
I don't want that again.
I liked all the food that I ate. I had a guajolota.
What the heck? Isn't that a owl?
No, a guajolota is a torta. Es un bolillo con un tamal adentro.
Oh, you never had that before?
I have here in the States because Mario makes them for me. But the first time that I ever tried, I was like, what the heck is this? And Mario was like, this is what my family eats. This is what like we eat in Mexico City. And so I knew that if I went to Mexico City, that's the first thing I wanted to try. And we had it for breakfast. I was so happy. I finished that thing. Like there was no tomorrow.
What kind of tamal was it?
It was the chile verde, de pollo.
Chicken.
Yeah. And Mario's family's like, oh, I don't think you're going to finish it. We never finish it. No, heck no. I finished that
was
thing.
it huge?
I mean,
Like a regular
when
torta?
I saw it, I was like, I'll finish that. I finished the ones that we eat here.
Yeah.
And so they were like, no, it's going to be too much. Te vas a llenar. And I was like, okay, yeah, I'll save it if I don't finish. No, I knew I was going to finish it. I finished the whole thing. It was so good. The tamal was like, it could have been better, but the experience of eating one in Mexico City was just delightful. It was delightful. You've never had one?
Yeah, I've had one.
You've had one, right?
Yeah.
They're so good.
It's such
And
a...
sometimes they make it better
How?
by like putting crema on top and
Yeah.
cheese.
You don't do that?
No.
That's how I had them. The first one I had one was because La Hermana Eva. She's from
Really?
Mexico City, yeah. Where I went to their house.
Well, I had one. My first time was when I met Mario.
Such a
Yeah.
Mexican city thing to do.
For real. It really is. It was so good. It was so good. Oh, and we had these other... I should have prepared myself to remember the names of all these foods. But we were in this downtown city area. And we had like this... It was almost like a long sope. No, it was, you know what huaraches are?
Yeah.
It was like a huarache, pero no era como sope, era como una tostada. And it was made up of like black beans, nopal, and all this other stuff. Y nos la prepararon con frijoles, nopal. It was so good. And I called it a tostada y el señor me corrigió. And he was like, it's not a tostada. And I'm like, it tastes like a tostada. It was delicious. I love the experience of eating food. You give me food and I'm happy. Yeah. So eating the food, the cultural food over there was just amazing. It was amazing. It really was. And tacos de suadero. I had tacos de suadero. What else did I have tacos of?
Did you eat any bugs?
I did!
Really?
I had bugs.
What kind?
I had
crickets.
Estaba empolvado en chile with garbanzo beans. It was so good.
Okay. Or just crunchy, no?
Mm-hmm. I honestly was not gonna try it. I didn't want to. But then they were like, it tastes like peanuts. And so I was like, okay. And I put it in my mouth and I was like, this is really good. And it was really good. It was amazing. And I was going to bring some, but Mario's dad told us that we weren't going to be allowed to bring it.
Why?
Because...
TSA?
Yeah. And I was really sad. I wanted to bring bugs. I wanted to bring you guys some bugs.
You can get some here.
Yeah, but I don't think it's going to be the same.
What do you mean?
I don't know. It's not Mexico City bugs. Mexico City bugs.
Let's see. Did you experience any frustrations on your trip, whether related to the destination itself or the actual traveling?
I did experience some frustrations. But I think it was more because I wanted to get like the full on where do I start? Mm-hmm. I experienced some frustrations with like where we ate food.
Yeah.
And where we shopped, like in local places, those two. But I learned that Mario's family is a little fifi. They're a little bit up there, and so I understood también. I wasn't gonna be like, take me to like, what is it called, Tepico? What? Tepito. Like, take me to Tepito right now, you know. I understood why they didn't, like, for example, shopping locally, like, we didn't get to buy, like, a lot of, like, local things because we weren't taken there. But the reasons why we weren't taken to those areas were because it was dangerous and it was around elections. And so there was a lot of things going on in Mexico City. So they didn't want to, like, expose us to, like, danger at all, you know? We were even going to go to Las Grutas, which is closer to Guerrero, but we ended up not going because as my tia Lidia did some research, Mario's tia did some research. I just call her my tia Lidia. It doesn't matter. My tia did some research. They ended up finding out that some cartels had settled in Las Grutas, so it was actually really dangerous to go out there because they were going to be like vigilando todo, and they were going to be looking around, and like if you didn't look like you were from there, you were going to get stopped by them. And so we ended up not going. So with local places to shop at, like we didn't get to go in like the places that I kind of was expecting that we were going to go to, because they wanted to stay safe, which I understood. But the places they did take us to, I could tell, I'm like, well, I came to Mexico, you know? Like, I want to see Mexico. Like, I want to get to, like, shop in, like, local, like, flea markets, like, all that stuff. So, but Mario's family's a little bit up there. And so I understood why we weren't going. And then, two, the food places, we were going to some restaurants. Like, for example, some, like, franchise restaurants, like Veeps or Wings, which is, like, IHOPs or, like... Yeah. Places like that are like franchised. And I wanted to like eat out in the street. And the times that we did get to eat out in the street, it was more because Mario's primos were like pushing for us to go. And I was like, yeah, I want to go. But Mario's like, Diaz were like, no, let's go eat here. Again, because they're a little bit up there. That's just their lifestyle. But at the same time, they didn't want us to get sick. So I understood that. I also understood they didn't want us to get sick because, you know, just sometimes people don't. Sick. I ended up getting... Yeah, and I got sick from a home meal. Like, it wasn't even like a street food. It was home. It was cooked at home. And so, yeah. So I understood that. I definitely understood that. But I did feel some frustration where I shared with Mario. I was just like, I didn't want to do this. I wanted to do that. This was my expectation. But it was like a little frustration where I was just like, well, I'm here anyway. So I was like having fun.
Yeah.
You know?
So Mario's Anna was like your tour guide? Basically.
Yeah. But she was also like learning. She was also kind of like learning again because she's always like super busy with like her company.
Yeah.
They have this company where they they carve into the ground para encontrar agua. Because I don't know if you've heard, but Mexico's running out of water.
Everywhere's running out of water.
They're running out of water, and so
Please.
like she does that where like they carve and carve and carve until they're able to extract water.
So they make wells.
Oh,
In a sense.
yeah. I guess you could say that. That's what they do.
That's crazy.
And so we went to Xochimilco. Have you heard of Xochimilco?
Sounds familiar.
Xochimilco in el Estado de Mexico is like, you go to this, it's like a city. It's called Xochimilco, and you get to ride boats over like a little river that they have. And they have these pretty boats. I have pictures.
Oh, I think I've seen that.
I'll send you the pictures. But we got ripped off.
Wow.
Y eso es que íbamos con gente que live in Mexico, and we still got ripped off. Like me and Mario were the only ones that were coming from the States. Everybody else like lived there. They charged us for the boat. They were for an hour. They charged us. It was 4,200 pesos. 4,200 pesos. They charged us almost $250 for an hour.
Damn.
$250, where those you can rent for like 1,500 pesos, which is $88, because you rent the entire boat and you can fit up to like 15 people in it for like 2 to 3 hours. And we got ripped off bad. But again, there's like a lot of people that like say that they're tour guides and they're really not tour guides. And that's what happened to us. So that experience was like nice, but it wasn't like, it was like, oh.
Was there someone driving the boat for you guys?
You don't drive it. So it's like someone
Like
stands.
a pole, no?
It's like this huge pole, yeah. And it like drives you. And we didn't really get to see like a nice scenery.
I seen a video of those and like, it was like an accident. Someone like falls. I think they passed away.
No.
Somehow.
Aren't you talking about the hot air balloons?
No, I'm talking about the boats. Like they drowned.
No. Oh.
It was a couple of years ago. Like they were like dancing on the boat and stuff.
And they fell and drowned.
Yeah.
They're probably intoxicated.
Yeah.
Because when we went, like a lot of people like were renting them for parties. Bro, it was so funny. Let me tell you. We were okay. So when we went to Xochimilco, I got to meet Mario's like family that couldn't come to the wedding. His mom's side of the family. And then I got to meet the rest of his dad's side of the family, which I already knew a big chunk of his dad's side of the family. And so when we went to Xochimilco, we rented out the boat because we were all going to fit there. And there was Mario's dad's side of the family and then Mario's mom's side of the family all came to visit us. Yeah. And so his grandpa from his mom's side was there. And he's like a lot older. He's like his late 80s, right? Mm-hmm. But you could tell he's a party animal, by the way. And there was another boat of like a bunch of transgender people that are gay or lesbian, and they were like having a party. And like, I don't know what happened. Our tour or the guy that was like driving or the boat or whatever, he made a comment to Mario's grandpa about like, usted se agarra uno y yo a otro. And he was like, oh no, not me. And like one of the gay guys looked at him and he was like, his grandpa. His grandpa got so red. We could not stop laughing because he was like maybe like late 20s. He was hitting on an 80-year-old man. And he was a man hitting on another man. And we were just like, no way. This is not happening right now. And we didn't know what to do with the situation, but we were just laughing because his grandpa got all red that someone just hit on him and he was a dude.
That's funny.
Yeah, it was interesting. It was interesting. Were you expecting anything for me to say anything about Mexico City?
No. Just asking you questions. You guys visited where they have like the big giant flag, right? What's that place
El
called?
Zócalo.
It's like where the president does his speeches. Mm-hmm. What is it called?
El Zócalo.
Is it?
Yeah, El Zócalo.
That had a different name.
No, it's like right in the center.
So that's where all the people gathered when the president was elected.
La Presidenta.
Were you guys there for that?
No, it was too dangerous to be there.
that
Again,
makes sense.
we couldn't do a lot of dangerous things, which I was
That's not
expecting.
dangerous.
It
just
actually
happened to be
really
dangerous.
is. It's that when we went, which we had the experience, they get a lot of things, a lot of monuments, a lot of like historic places were blocked up. They were blocked with like these metal things that the
Protect
police to protect, because there had been a lot of vandalizing, a lot of shootings, a lot of things that were happening around those areas, because we were there leading up to the election of the president. And so I learned a lot. Do you want to hear?
Well, she was elected on Thursday, no?
No, she was elected on Sunday. The 2nd.
No, is it?
The Sunday, June 2nd. They were
crazy.
doing the elections. Bro, there's so much corruption over there.
Yeah, I've heard.
So much. A lot of people. So if you guys don't know, the very first woman president was elected in Mexico. Her name is Claudia Sheinbaum. That's her. She is a scientist, a physicist. She was actually, before being elected the president, she was the governor of Mexico City.
Yeah.
And
She was a mayor too, no? Some other city.
yeah. So she was like in politics. One of the things that I learned, because I saw a lot of like women running for like government or mayor and stuff like that, is that it's very normal in Mexico for women to run. It's not like the US that you just see a bunch of men running for mayor or for presidency or for governors. It's very normal to see women run, and you don't see a lot of men running. But they always saw the men run for presidency. Yeah. And so it was actually something historical for women to be running for president. And as you know, we had Maynes, which was the only guy, which I think is el sobrino of Obrador.
Really?
Yeah, the former president. And then there was Xochitl Galvez, that some people really love and some people really do not like. And then there was Claudia Sheinbaum.
Yeah. And
the party that she was running for, which is Morena, is actually like a Democratic party. It's like very leftist.
Is that what people are mad? Well, wasn't Obrador?
He's a leftist too. Same party. And then the one that Xochitl was running for is like, so what happened this year during the elections is that there's 3 parties in Mexico. There's Morena, there's el PRI, y el PAN. And this year during the elections, el PRI y el PAN got together and became one party. And that's who Xochitl was running for. Mm-hmm. And Claudia was running for Morena, which is like the leftist party. But in the history of Mexico's like political parties, the conservative parties were always the most corrupt, because that's where like Peña Nieto was from and all these, because like instead of actually helping Mexico, they were like just doing it for the money and like stealing from people. And so when Obrador Lopez came in, he did a lot of change. Yeah. And you know, he really changed Mexico. And so what's her name? Claudia actually worked for him as an assistant, I think. Yeah. And then came in and people wanted her. Oh, so this is the crazy thing. This is what I'm trying to get to. A lot of people were like saying how Claudia was very corrupt and how they didn't want her. But then some people were like, Xochitl is very corrupt, because they were bringing up the history of every person who was running for election. Mm-hmm. But I saw this funny video while I was in Mexico of like this guy asking people like, who are you going to vote for? Who's more corrupt? And the guy was like, they're all corrupt. You just have to vote for the one that's the least corrupt. True. Which is Claudia. Mm-hmm. Because I think Xochitl was bringing up like Claudia's past of things that she was doing. But compared to Xochitl, like Xochitl was like like, dude, you're like you're a criminal and you're trying to become a president, you know? And so, and this is the thing, which this is not on the news, guys, but because we were in Mexico during the elections and when the president was elected, we saw it happen. Xochitl was paying people to vote for her.
What the heck?
And she was promising despensas to people to vote for her, for the votes. And why do we know this? Because Mario's tia, the area that they live in, Toluca, is like, it's weird, like super wealthy people, and then there's like a lot more of the lower class. And Mario's tia was given 500 pesos from Xochitl's party so they can vote for her, and they were going to give her more money after she put in the vote. So this is why you're seeing a lot of TikTok videos of people like talking about how, or that live in Mexico, talking about how like they were taking people's money, they were taking the money saying they were going to vote for Xochitl, but really when they went in to vote, they voted for Claudia. Because Claudia was the only one Claudia and Maynes, which was the other guy, were the only ones that weren't paying people to vote for them. It was only Xochitl. She was like really trying to get people to vote for her. So she was promising them despensas. People were getting the despensas, but people were lying. People were like, oh, vote for Xochitl. And they got the despensa, and then they went and voted for Claudia.
That's funny.
And people were getting paid too for, people were getting paid to vote for Xochitl because she was like paying them. And that actually did happen. But you don't see that on the news. The U.S. doesn't cover that. They don't tell you the truth.
Well, the U.S. hates that Claudia was voted in.
The U.S. hates that Claudia was voted in?
Yeah.
Really?
Like,
why?
I don't know.
Well, they wanted someone corrupt.
Yeah.
They wanted someone like
who
Xochitl.
can manipulate.
Yeah.
Because every time you see Obrador like talking about the USA, he was always like, no, they're not gonna do whatever they want with our country. Like he always stood up for like the Mexican people, and they didn't like that. Trump didn't like that. Biden doesn't like that. So
yeah, they wanted someone corrupt.
A lot of people are mad, like, and like they're bringing up all these conspiracies about her, like that she's half Jewish.
No, she is Jewish.
I know. Well,
yeah.
Well, she's from Jewish descent, but I don't think does she practice like Judaism? I don't think she practices it.
Eso sí no sé.
But people are making that like such a big deal. Like, oh, look at this Jewish lady who's now in control, and now we got like some guy in the USA is now in control. Like, oh, they're gonna team up, all this stuff and this and that.
I didn't know that. The only thing that I did know about the why people are upset about the Jewish thing, is because there's a group of women that are feminists that are Jewish in Mexico.
Yeah.
I don't know what they're called. The group is called, but this feminist group has rioted and has made a lot of cities very dangerous. And they have gone against like the male figure, so like in a very dangerous way. Not even like, I don't even know how to explain it. It's just like a dangerous group. Yeah. And this group is comprised of women that are Jewish. And
in
so
Mexico?
In Mexico, yeah. And so they like in the past couple of years, I think from my understanding is that they've even like killed men. They like it's like a dangerous group. And so they, because of women being women and because they're Jewish, they kind of frowned upon Claudia because she's a woman and she's Jewish, and they thought she's just gonna, by her being the figure of Mexico, is gonna open the door for this group to continue on the things that they're doing.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That's what I have heard, that people are upset that she was elected president. Yeah. But other than that, yeah, I just don't know. You can tell the difference between her and the other one that was running.
Yeah, I don't know, cause like even like I asked like some people at work, like how they felt about like the new president, and they were like, yeah, we don't really know about her. Like, yeah, we don't really like her like that.
Why though?
I don't know. They didn't have reasons.
It just doesn't make sense though. It's because
from my understanding, like people love Obrador.
Yeah,
and they're the same party. So like, is it because she's a woman, or like what is it? Because like they couldn't give me a reason. Like, 'cause obviously, I don't know anything about their political parties or
Yeah.
like the past presidents. Obviously, we know that there's a lot of corruption in in Mexico.
Yeah. Well, I
So,
really
I
don't
don't
know
know.
what to say to that. I don't live in Mexico, but I think that I think Mexico got to a point like we did a couple years ago where we didn't like Biden.
So
We
it's
didn't
like-
like Trump. We just had to pick one.
Pick like the best one out of the
Pick
worst.
the least corrupt,
Yeah.
right? In quotations, like the least corrupt. And I think that's what they ended up running into because a lot of people didn't like Claudia. A lot of people didn't feel like Minus would have done a good job because he was too young. A lot of people just didn't think that Xochitl was fit either.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like, well, let's just pick the least corrupt one. Because, yeah, they brought up some things that Claudia did in her past. I don't know if you knew, but her former husband is like, he was arrested for some... She's remarried now, but she divorced from that other husband and he's in prison for, I don't remember for what. But like, there's a lot of factors. It could be because she's a woman and, you know, they're just like upset that there's a woman elected as president. Or two, it could be because considering Mexico and its tradition and its cultural beliefs, they're still a very like conservative country.
Yeah.
And considering the party that she's leading, it's very like leftist.
Well, I heard Morena is also like a newer party.
Yeah. I have heard that too. I think it is.
Yeah, because someone told me that they don't remember, like when they were in school back in Mexico, like they don't remember that party.
Yeah.
So it's like newer.
I think so. I think it is new. But if you look at Xochitl, again, it goes back to the least corrupt. If you look at Xochitl's past, her sister right now is in jail for like secuestro, like she would kidnap people. And Xochitl, there was a lot of proof that she had like contratos con el gobierno where like she would use her power to benefit her family.
Yeah.
And like that would be taking like with like not paying taxes, like all of these things, right? All of these things. And then too, like she just the way she talks, like at least you would hope that the president was like a little bit more educated, you know?
Yeah.
Where compared to Claudia, like she's like a physicist, she's a scientist,
PhD,
like
you know?
she's a doctor. She knows like what she's doing. I don't know if you saw a video on TikTok, but they were like in what's it called? When like when the ones that are running for president are like all like bashing on each other. What is that called?
The debates.
The debate. And someone asked Xochitl a question about how like, oh, you know, Mexico's running out of water and what are you going to do? Like if you are elected president, what are you going to do to solve that problem? And she was talking about like, oh, well, we can do this and we can do that. And we're going to be able to use this lake. And then, you know, her time was up talking. And so the question went to Claudia. And Claudia's like, you can't do that because you can't even, all of the places that she named, she's like, that's salted water. Like you can't. So it makes sense. Like I feel like a lot of people would still choose Claudia because she has the knowledge of like the environment, like the habitat.
She's an environmentalist. No?
Yeah, like she has the knowledge. She's gonna be able to get Mexico out of it. Where Xochitl, like she doesn't even know what she's talking about.
Yeah.
You know?
That's funny.
Yeah. So it was interesting. I was so happy. We're so happy that Claudia won. I think Mario's family was happy too.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I heard there was like a lot of missing candidates, if you know what I mean. Like 37.
What do you mean?
You never heard this?
No.
That they mysteriously disappeared. AKA, I don't know if you can say that on YouTube.
You can blur it up.
Murdered.
Which candidates though?
I don't know. The
Oh,
leading
like
up,
before-
leading up to the
Choosing the three.
yeah. There was 30. As of right now, 37, either missing or
Yeah.
confirmed. Murdered.
You know what? I would not move past that. Like I believe you. And if it's just like a conspiracy theory, like I would
Oh,
still
it's not
believe
conspiracy.
it. It's legit.
Facts.
Well, because the reason why PRI and PAN got together and Xochitl was elected to represent them was because they didn't have any capable person
Yeah.
to run for presidency. They didn't have that. That's what they said. They didn't have anybody.
See,
Then I think even for Claudia, they just didn't have them.
This is where like it gets confusing. Probably had to do my research, but like, wouldn't because let's say who's doing these killings? Obviously, probably the cartel. Wouldn't they want not because? Wouldn't they want people that are not from La Morena to win? Does that make sense to you? Because
Yeah.
like I
hear
feel
you.
like that party's like the one like, all right, let's get rid of the cartel. No, maybe you might not know, but
Is it? Is it?
I don't know because like I feel like they were trying to kill Obrador too, no, weren't they?
No, but I think this is why a lot of people didn't like Obrador. Obrador was like the president that everybody loved, right?
Yeah.
But there was a lot of people still in Mexico that didn't like him because one of the things that he'd stand for, and I don't know if you ever saw like videos on this, was that he would always say like, "El pueblo me va a proteger." And he would be walking like in the middle of el pueblo and todos se le dejaban ir and like they would protect him y nadie lo tocaba, nadie le hacía daño. Whereas if you compare his presidency to everybody else's, all the other presidents before him were always surrounded by bodyguards, all of these things.
Yeah.
And so a lot of people use that image to say the cartel works for him or he's a corrupt or he's this or he's that, because there's no way that you can walk in the crowd of people that is surrounding you with no bodyguards, no security, and for nothing to happen to the president of Mexico. Mm-hmm. And so I had heard that. And so I had seen it. I've seen videos of him just like being alone. Like he's literally walking and everyone's like hugging him and loving him and like taking him to where he needs to go with absolutely nobody to guard him. And it was el pueblo. And he was always like saying, "El pueblo me va a proteger." And so then a lot of people use that as in like, well, there's no possible way that happens to a president unless like he's working for the mafia or the cartel or something. Right. And to get to your point, well, my brain is like going out. But you get my point?
Yeah. So, now that I think about it.
Because you said about Morena. That's why. Yeah. So I think a lot of people don't like that political party because they think it has something to do with.
Like they're working together.
Yeah, they're working together.
Maybe.
Maybe not.
I don't know.
But I also think that, again, it goes back to the conservative parties like the PRI and the PAN that got together. They still want like the corruption to continue. And my controversial theory is that the PRI and the PAN is actually owned by like some of those mafia governmental cartel people.
Yeah.
And they kept wanting to put someone as president because look at all the money Peña Nieto took. Not one dime went to Mexico. Not one dime. And then Obrador came in and gave it all back to Mexico. And he took out all of those American companies. He took out all of like people that were extracting the riches of Mexico were taken out by Obrador.
Yeah.
And like he was doing what he was supposed to as a president. And so someone was trying to get Xochitl in it again to start all of that again. You could tell she's corrupt. You could just see her.
They wanted to bring back those countries that were lining their pockets.
Yeah.
To be there.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Exactly. But Mexico is such a powerful country. Unfortunately, its leadership has made it has practically almost made Mexico disappear because of all of just putting their money in their pocket and giving nothing to the people.
Yeah. No, that's true.
But do you remember the last time in another episode, and maybe the ones that are listening to us, they might remember, in another episode when I talked about The Handmaid's Tale?
Yeah.
And how I said that it's kind of scary because they had a woman president in the show in Mexico. They have a woman president.
Yeah.
And how I said she looks like one of the ones that are running up right now. She looks like Claudia.
Really?
Yeah.
What the heck?
Tall, thin, dark hair. The girl in the movie is like dark skinned. Claudia isn't, but she reminded me a lot of Claudia. I'm not saying that Claudia's going to be like... I'm not saying that Claudia reminds me of that. I personally would have voted for Claudia, but it's a little scary to know like where our countries are going after I saw The Handmaid's Tale.
That's funny. You know, because that show is the one you say about like people aren't having no kids, right?
Mm-hmm. People aren't.
I was reading this article that I think it's Japan.
Yeah.
Like they're doing like kind of like forced like dating apps because people aren't having kids no more.
Really?
Yeah, something like that. Like people, like young people, are almost like being forced to like have like a date thing on their phone.
To have a baby.
Yeah, to have a baby.
That's scary. I don't know. In Mexico, people are still having kids from left to right. I saw so many pregnant women. I was like, good for you, ma'am. Good for you. Good for you. But it's scary. Who? I know we're not from Mexico, but who would you have voted for?
I can't answer that because I don't know anything.
You can't?
No. Like, I don't know anything about the other lady.
From the conversations we had today.
Well, I probably would have voted for the one who won.
Oh, for Claudia?
Yeah.
Yeah. I was going for her since the beginning.
But, yeah.
Yeah. It's because there's just so many different factors in Mexico. First of all, there's so much... It's so easy to, like, become corrupted there. It's definitely super easy. Mm-hmm. That's what I learned from going to the city this year.
How, though?
Just because of the way people are living, when you get offered something, you're going to take it. It's not I'm not gonna take that. Like, I'm fine. I'm good with what I have.
Yeah.
No, like, there's still so much poverty that people are just willing to do whatever just to survive another day. Mm-hmm. And it's so easy to be manipulated into corruption and think that you're doing the right thing just because someone else is doing something worse than you. Does that make sense? Yeah. When they're both still bad. And yeah,
it's just a different like place to live over there.
Mm-hmm. It's very different.
Like, because like going back to like that, those people, like candidates missing, like you would never hear something like that in the United States.
No, and
like,
it's not something that's on the news either.
Yeah,
I didn't even know about that when you brought it up because I watched the news while we were in Mexico every single day leading up to the elections and like even after, and not one time did they talk about that.
Yeah.
But I believe you. I believe you because they didn't have any people that were willing to run. That's what they said. Because it was weird. It was weird how like, these two parties had to get together because they had no people to run.
Yeah.
Like that doesn't make sense.
Well, there's also, I forgot his name, but he's like the CEO of, I think it's called BlackRock, which BlackRock like pretty much owns like everything.
BlackRock?
I think it's called BlackRock. And this Claudia, she was seen, there was a picture that she was like meeting him or something. And this is like conspiracy theory, but like that company owns like pretty much, it's like a big company that owns like other little small companies, but like that are big.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. So people were like, she was put in that spot because of him.
I believe that too, but because there's this novela that I used to see. It's a Colombian novela. The girl's name was Catalina. If I'm gonna name the characters, okay, maybe you guys will know what I'm talking about, or maybe you might remember like what it's called. I don't remember what the novela was called, but it was a show where when the main character was Catalina, había una que se llamaba La Diabla, su hija se llamaba Daniela. And, you don't know, what I'm talking about?
No.
Man, why do I forget the names of everything?
La Reina del Sur.
La Reina.
No, it's not that.
It had something, I don't remember what it's called.
It's Mexican cartel stuff.
But in that TV show, and we're talking about Colombia, we're not even talking about like Mexico, but I'm almost positive it happens in Mexico.
Yeah.
In that TV show, there was someone that was called La Mano Negra. And this was like a powerful man that was more powerful than the government of Colombia, more powerful than the president of Colombia, more powerful than anyone. Él hacía un movimiento y se tenía que hacer, Él mandaba una orden and it had to be done. Se llamaba la mano negra. And so it just made me think about what you're saying, that I believe that there is someone in Mexico that's more powerful than the president, that's more powerful than the government, that moves things around. And it doesn't matter how genuine you want to be in the work that you do, but once you get to a level that high in the government, you start to realize like, oh, there's something else here that's not allowing me to do the job that I want to do. And so you have to sacrifice. I'm almost positive that López Obrador had to make decisions that his heart didn't want to make, but he wanted to make it for the good of the people. And yet it was skewed because there's someone that's higher that's not allowing them to do the jobs that they want to do.
Yeah.
And you said it's called BlackRock?
Yeah, it's BlackRock. BlackRock doesn't directly own shares in major corporations.
El fin del el paraíso.
I've heard
That's what it's called.
Yeah.
El paraíso.
So it's this guy, Larry. His name's Larry Fink, CEO of BlackRock. And
Maybe it's him. I don't know. I'm sorry. The novela I'm talking about, it's called Sin Senos, Si Hay Paraíso. That's what it's called. That was a good novela, honestly. You should watch it.
I've heard.
It's really good. La Mano Negra. Larry, what you said?
Larry Fink.
Fink. I don't know why I was thinking Larry Skittles.
Larry Skills. Yeah.
Yeah, dude. And so it's just crazy. I've kept up with more of the elections in Mexico than I have here in the U.S.
Well, we all know it's gonna be Trump, Biden.
Trump, Biden, like the final two?
Yeah.
Biden, why would you run again? Why? You're just like, you're not in the condition to do so. Mejor quédate con tu familia. Give the rest of the time that you have to your family, to your nietos. Spend some time with them, buddy. Just spend some time with them. Let somebody else run for you. You spend some time with them.
Have anyone else?
There should be somebody else. Like, why would you do this to the
Michelle
American
Obama
people?
Was running.
I'd vote for Michelle Obama.
I think that was
First president.
that's real.
Remember when Kanye West was trying to run?
Yeah.
That didn't last very long. I heard a conspiracy theory that when he was trying to run, he got too into all of this, that's why he got made into a clone, because he found out things he wasn't supposed to.
That makes sense. I heard that.
Yeah. I was like, I believe that, because have you heard that one song that he has, like, if I come back, it won't be me anymore?
Yeah.
And he did come back, and it does not look like him at all.
Well, no, it was just like, I believe that's a thing that happens. Like, once, like, celebrities know too much, they're like, well,
yeah,
like, we can't just make them disappear because they're, like, in the public.
it's the Illuminati.
So they're like,
It's the Illuminati.
they, like, wipe your memory or something. Because they come back and they don't even, like, act the same or, like, I mean, I guess he's like, going kind of crazy again, but.
Well, did you actually, from a guy's perspective or from like a Christian's perspective, let us know, Abraham. Did you hear about how he was like, you know how a couple of years ago he had this like transformation and he was talking about Jesus and how he was saved and everything?
Yeah.
Did you just hear recently about how he's starting a porn company?
Yeah, I heard that.
What do you think about that?
He's just crazy. I think he craves that attention. You know?
You think so?
Like, why else would he, like, go from one opposite end to the other? Like, he does it to, like, every time he says something, it's something, like, controversial that, like, gets him views, that gets him, like, the eyes on him. And then he, like, sells you something. He'll say something, like, what has he said in the past? Something about Jews. And then he'll say, oh, look at my shoe. Look at my clothes. I think he just does it for attention, to be honest.
I don't know.
That or something wrong with him.
I just think it goes back to him not being the person.
The person he was before.
Yeah. Because it makes me think about like.
But he was doing this whole Christian thing after he came back, no?
You tell me.
I don't know.
If you are someone who like has experienced the power of God, and you are someone who like is saved, and you are like, no, like I like my life is God's. Do you jump from that extreme to another extreme? Like, is that?
But what's to
I'm
say
just
that
having a
he
hard
actually
time.
experienced the power of God? Like, what if it was just a phase? Like, oh look, this is what's cool right now. Let me make some money from this, and he would do his little Sunday. What would they call them?
Yeah, the Sunday services.
Sunday services. Like, did he charge people that, or was there free?
I don't. I think those were really private, actually.
Really?
Because like the people that would go were like celebrities.
Not because I had like people that I follow like from my school that like went to one.
I don't know. It's just a little bit like hard.
Like, because if you truly save, you like.
Yeah. Like you wouldn't do that.
I don't know. Like once you're in, like, you know, like when you feel like the true power of God is like, you can't just go back to like the worldly.
Right.
Like, oh, I want to
right.
open up a pornography. What is the website or?
I don't know. I thought it was a company.
Something like that.
I get, yes, I understand you, but I'm also having a hard time wanting to believe that he's capable of that, of like just doing it for attention. Or maybe it's just because I like to look at the like that people are good and not jump to like
He is not a good person.
Right, I get it. But like it's hard for me to believe that because it's like then it goes back to it's easier for me to believe that he really was cloned and he's not the same person than to believe that he's doing it for attention.
Really?
Yeah, like I don't know why. Like it's with
His
anybody.
brain would poof right now. I believe that too. I believe like something definitely happens to like these celebrities when they know too much. Like look at Ryan Garcia. Like he recently like was saying some crazy things. And like I mean I haven't heard of him in a while, but like has someone checked on him?
Yeah. Yeah. And we've talked about it in the past too, how there's these TikToks that come up of like these people, especially Black people who are being interviewed by someone. Mm-hmm. And they talk about the Illuminati and how like Beyonce and Jay-Z and all these people. And which one was the recent one that got like exposed? Diddy? Yeah, Diddy. Yeah. And they talk about like all of these crazy things that happen. They're like, these people are evil. These people are a part of the Illuminati, and the Illuminati gets to you when you let them come in, and they make you do evil things. Yeah. And so, like this whole thing with Kanye and this whole thing with even Britney Spears of the conspiracies, like she's a clone and she's not really her. Like all of these things, like I'm really starting to believe like it's legit. Like
I think Britney was different. I think her family like had a really. Like they were really, I don't know how to say it. Like they were controlling her money. Like she was like under super control by her dad, I think, or something.
Well, as a therapist, I wouldn't even consider like they experience so much trauma that they become crazy. Yeah. Like that's just hard for me to like. How can we let our mind get there? You know what I mean?
The thing about like Miley Cyrus, like all those kids that like started like acting or singing at a really young age.
Yeah.
Like Drake Bell.
Yeah.
That girl, Amanda Bynes Show.
Yeah.
Girl. Like think about all the things they went through and seen. And then like no one believes them. That's just hard. And like no matter what you say, like, oh, she's just going crazy, you know. And the same thing happened to Kanye. Like people were saying, oh, he's crazy, he needs to go to a mental institute.
Well, that's you're literally affirming my point. The fact that I feel like something happened to him. Like I just don't think that he's capable of like being such an evil person from jumping from one thing to another. I really genuinely think that he did experience the power of God. He did have this transformation, and then somewhere in the middle, things are not being said, and something happened to him.
Well, things are being said, but like people are not taking it serious.
What's being said?
Well, I don't know. I don't really follow Kanye, but like if you take Ryan Garcia, like he was saying that they took him to the like this place where they do rituals on little kids.
Yeah.
And like, why would you like unless you're actually crazy, which is
Yeah.
what the media will try to make us think.
Yeah.
Because like who says something like that unless they actually experience those things, and that they force them to do things to little kids and stuff.
Right.
Like you must be out of your mind to say like things like that for no reason, or it actually happened, but no one's gonna believe you.
It's hard. The world is evil.
Yeah.
You know what? I feel bad sometimes because this is all types of stuff that Topacio used to talk about. Do you remember? And I always thought, I was like, dude, what is going through your mind?
Topacio, you're crazy.
Yeah. And she was always she was someone that was always on top of these things. And now it's like I'm allowing myself to like do my research and hear these things. I'm like, oh, my sister was not crazy. Like I hear her.
No, there's definitely something behind doors that we don't know about that truly goes on in like with like celebrities or people in public, like people in control that aren't really in control but are just puppets.
Yeah. It's
to
really
control
sad.
us. Yeah. Did you hear that like China found a cure to diabetes?
Really?
Yeah.
China finds everything.
And that the USA is already trying to find a way to
Take it?
not take it, but to make profit off of it, or even ban it if possible. It's
I
crazy.
just don't understand the U.S.
I don't know.
The founding fathers would be very upset at you right now. George Washington would be like, what the heck have you created out of my country?
Is George Washington the best American to ever live?
You
Probably.
you think he was the best American to ever live?
They asked him, you know,
Probably.
or Abraham Lincoln.
I've heard some conspiracy theories about Abraham Lincoln,
Like what?
that he was gay.
Wow. We've been talking for forever.
But yeah, we have. But yeah, I'm not gonna add
I've
anymore.
never heard that one.
I
That might
have
be true.
okay, I guess we can end here.
All right. Do the honors.
Well, everybody, thank you for listening to our conversations today. We were all over the place. We talked about Mexico. We talked about donuts. We talked about the political parties in Mexico and the number one news of the year, which is that there is a woman president in Mexico. Congratulations to Claudia Sheinbaum.
Is there a sound for that?
Yeah. And we also talked about conspiracy theories again and the faith of Kanye West and what has happened throughout his life. Did I miss anything?
No, that's it. Pretty good review.
We've talked about a lot. So please follow us on all platforms. We are on usually Best of Friends on Instagram, TikTok. We have a YouTube channel. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify. And am I missing anything?
No, that's it.
I think we have everything. But please comment down below if you're watching through YouTube. If you would have voted for Xochitl Galvez, or if you would have voted for Claudia Sheinbaum, or if you believe that the testimony of Kanye West is legit, or if you believe like something else is going on. We would like to hear from you guys, and please as well, let us know if there's something that you would like us to talk about or address in one of our videos. Hopefully the next time that we meet, we will be seeing Julissa and she will be included in our video again. And yeah, thanks for joining us today.